Okay. Should I get started with the roll call?
You are good to go now, Esther.
Okay.
Great.
So let's begin. Mayor Harry W. Rilling.
Here.
Mr. Ed Abrams. He's not here. Mr. Ed Camacho.
I'm here.
Mr. Kendrick Constant.
Here.
Mr. Troy Girolette.
Here.
Mr. Artie Casimis.
I'm here. I'm here.
And Miss Ann Yang.
I'm here.
Okay, and that is 5. We have quorum.
Okay, fair enough. This is the July 1, 2020 regular meeting of the Board of Estimate and Taxation. Number 1 on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the June 3rd, 24th regular meeting. Do I have a motion? No motion. It's not going to be approved.
So moved, Troy.
All right. So it's been moved. Does anyone have any changes, additions, deletions, etc.? No. Hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes of the July 3rd, 2024 hearing as presented in our packets attached to the agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay. Your abstains.
Here.
The motion passes. Second on the agenda is the special appropriations agenda. I didn't see anything in the packet. I assume that there is nothing.
You did not miss anything, Ed. You are correct.
Okay. We'll then move on to the transfer agenda, section B. And I believe the police department has significant transfers to it right now.
Yeah, that's you're correct, Ed. I believe we've done a series of them over the last 2 months as well for the police department. So this is their final cleanup, and kudos to Mickey for making everything so organized and efficient for the auditors. But he is on the line, and I'll let him speak to the rest of it.
Do we have to move the item?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
would you
Yes.
move it, Troy? That give you
So moved. If so, I'll move it.
okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, like Tom said, this is my final sort of redistribution of funds to reprioritize end of year spending, cleaning up some bills. This will pretty much put every penny that's left in the account into our other operating and patrol for some odds and ends. I'd like to point out we will be ending up the year in the black again. So these are just odds and ends to take care of some last minute bills. The salary transfer, the salary set of transfers, these are really inconsequential. There are things like people were transferred and it took a little bit for the paperwork to catch up. So they were temporarily charged their old account, which went into deficit, and we moved the money into their new account. We could have kind of let this go, and at the end of the year, it would have all balanced, but we kind of like to keep everything in the black so we don't see any red on the balance sheet. This is our 4th in my series of end of the year transfers that I do every year. This will conclude this. So this should be a nice, neat, clean way to end up the year.
Okay. So has everyone had a chance to review the transfers in our budget packet, pages 8 through 11?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, the item has been moved. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, I just want to give Mr. Dosimo a tremendous amount of credit here. He is such a meticulous keeper of the records, keeper of the money. even to the point where if you look at the bottom of the first page, there's a $1 transfer. I mean, this is something that really makes it look like this is being done properly. And I appreciate the work that he does. He's, like I said, he's very meticulous.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought that was just referring to the item, but it's a $1 transfer. That's true. So the motion carries and the transfers are approved. Thank you, Mr. Dosimo.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mayor, for the kind words. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your hard work.
All right.
All right, so next up is other business. And I believe we have a report. Well, we have the contingency tracker. Who would like to speak on that, and would someone move it?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll move it.
Actually, it's not. I don't think it's an action item, is it? An action item. It's just a report. So, my apologies. Mr. Ellis.
Yeah, so no contingency requests this month. We started the year with a budget of $1.5 million. We will finish, assuming no fiscal 24 transfers for the meeting in August. We will finish $538,000 to the good. And I believe I mentioned this last month. When we get to the budget rollovers in the at the October BET meeting, I plan to submit that 538,000 to be rolled over into fiscal 25. And the reason being the ongoing labor negotiations that are happening, which expired yesterday. So those are in process with all of the city unions. I believe there's 6 of them. And we put whatever retro wage increase retro wage increases come out of the contingency account. So we have a bit of a buffer in there, but would be more comfortable with more of a buffer. So in the event, or I should say, if and when they do sign the final contracts, there will be a retro component. And the way that will go is the transfer will come out of contingency and go into each of the line items for the various departments, whether it's police or fire or finance or whatever the case may be. So this will just give us a bit more of a buffer. So
Just a point of clarification. So this would not automatically fall into the fund balance at the end of this fiscal year.
if it would, if we didn't do a rollover, but I'm suggesting that to err on the side of the caution, depending on how the negotiations go, I would feel more comfortable having a bit more of a buffer in the contingency for next year. And in the event the contracts get signed for exactly what we have right now, there is no retro wage, and then that would go into the rainy day fund at the end of fiscal 25.
Okay. So would we have to vote on this, or is this?
No, the rollovers will. Well, I should say, you don't vote tonight, but in September I'll go out to all the departments and ask them for their rollover requests. We'll aggregate them, consolidate them, and bringing them to you guys on October 7th. For a vote on the rollovers, and we go department by department, everybody's requests, and
Gonna show the place on here in Roll.
say again.
No, I think that was just my wife leaving.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Are there any questions concerning that? Troy, you're muted.
Tom, just Troy, just what unions are coming up next year? Just refresh us.
Everything but the Board of Ed one. So it's NASA, which is the supervisors. I believe we have an NMEA component, which is a municipal employees one. The fire department, the police department have their own, and a smattering of others. I think there's a.
So fire and police are in the same year. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that was with intent that they lined them all up years ago, and Tina has been working to somewhat streamline the contracts so that they're all consistent in their format. In other words, Section 7 is healthcare benefits for all of them. So you could go to Section 7 of whatever contract. So I don't know if that will actually happen with this round, but I know that's the aspiration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next item is the tax collector's narrative, but I don't see Lisa here. It's
I don't either, and
No, she's not gonna be here.
okay,
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Jared, I'm gonna fill in as best I can for Lisa. She didn't want me to convey to you all that because the year ended just yesterday, they haven't closed on the year yet, so we don't have an end of the June report yet. But that's forthcoming. And she said she would provide that to you via email as soon as it's completed. But I do have a couple other notes. All the tax bills have been physically mailed out at different points in time during June. The motor vehicle was done first, more around the middle of the month, and the other ones followed within the last couple of weeks of June. Most of them have been online for a good part of the second half of June, so they've been available online for people to go that route if they wanted to. The tax sale is the process is continuing. Sales tax notices were sent out to those remaining who haven't settled up their bills yet. And so there are 103 of those properties, which is decent. We started out with 228, so there's 103 left. Since November, we've taken in 4.3 million in tax sales since that process started. The actual sale would take place about 10 weeks from now. And that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me.
I just have a quick question for you, Jared. How did the tax sale go? I know, the bonds sale go last week with rates and everything. Or did you do it yet? Or are you in the process of doing it?
No, it's funny you should mention that. We have not done that yet. We actually had our first substantive conversation with our municipal financial advisor today, just about schedule. And so we're gonna take it. It'll be almost the next about a month and a half process from now until the time that we do that sale, which we're scheduling to be around the middle of August, middle to end of August. And so we have our work to do to put together the documents and the narratives and yeah, so that's coming up as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
yeah, the good news, Troy, is the markets rates are a touch higher than they were last year, but markets in general are much less volatile. We were very fortunate last year to sort of catch a trough in the pricing, but this year won't be nearly as challenging, I don't think so.
very good. Next is, I believe, Oak Hills.
There's Alan.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Talk about Oak Hills. We are now in our 11th month, as we say in my part of the merry month of May. So just talk about May briefly. For the actual month itself, our revenue was $57,000 over budget. We thought we'd do $299,000 total revenue. Ended up with $356,000. Mainly more golf. Obviously, it was a very nice month for us weather-wise. Our expenses were up by $25,000 for that period of time. $10,000 in personnel expenses. We spent a little more on our agriculture, our fertilizer, and other such things for that particular month. And so for the month, we ended up $31,000 ahead of our budgeted surplus, $31,000 ahead. So where are we on a year-to-date basis? After 11 months, we find our revenue is $193,000 over our budget. Our expenses are $71,000 ahead of our budget. which gives us a net number after 11 months of $122,000 ahead of our budget, which is obviously good to hear. And June, I've not seen June's numbers yet, obviously, but I believe it'll be another strong month for us. So on the financial side, we do continue to do well and meet our numbers and exceed them. So any questions on the financial side of the operation? I do have a couple more things, if I may, briefly. Being as we are now in July 1st, which is a new fiscal year, I think I'm pleased to announce that I am been elected as I am the chair of the Oak Hills Park Authority. Vice chair is Richard Dellinger, and treasurer is Denise Brown, who was our treasurer last year. So that will form the executive committee of Oak Hills, ably assisted by our other members of the association, just to let you know. Secondly, just to let the committee know, we're currently in negotiations or talking to SNEW, South Norfolk Electric Water, talking about water, basically. Obviously, May, June, July, and August are our heavy water use months. And basically, we have been told by SNEW that we are being treated the same as if we're a domestic house, the same as my house, in water the course twice a week on Saturdays and Thursdays. Obviously, that is tough for us. We do have a situation where, we have 50,000 gallons we can pull out from the lake, which is, by the 5th or 6th, I think, whatever that is, the lake there. And we do that, obviously. But there are times when we need more than that, and we do use water from SNEW. Now, we pay for it, obviously, and at this moment in time, there are no drought conditions. We understand when there are drought conditions, we comply, and obviously because the conditions are in effect, and we comply with them.
1 minute, Alan, excuse me. I think somebody's got background noise because I keep getting a lot of interference. So if we could all mute, I think, while Alan's talking. Thanks.
Okay. So basically, just to continue, obviously drought conditions we're going to cut back because we will do the same as everybody. But, and we do pay for the water, obviously. What we're asking is that, we did some research, and Aquarian, I believe, does have some special variances and conditions for golf courses in the areas where they use. Certain golf courses have their own wells, and we are now going to start actively looking to see there are a couple of wells that we could probably drill down to and get some more water out of that, so you wouldn't have to rely so much on the city water. But it is an issue that we're currently working on. I did send a note to Tom Livingston, Mr. Mayor, just to appraise him of this, and he is aware of it, and he did get back to me. He did say that, obviously, I'm not sure how much control the city has over this, but just wanted to let you guys know this is where we're at on this particular situation. And hopefully, because if we can't, then things, the course is going to dry out, and it will not be kind of good for us anyway. Just put it out there.
Okay. I appreciate the info. Is there anything else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's Troy. Yeah, Alan, that is very concerning. I happen to be at the course, fortunate enough to be, and I noticed with this hot weather the last couple of weeks, there was definitely a indication that the course was needed water. So whatever we can do, this is something we should not. I don't think the golf course should be treated as a residential home. It is a commercial business, and without water, that course is going to be a problem, and then revenues will go down to nothing. So it sounds like you're taking the right steps and being proactive, because all it takes is a week of hot weather again, and that could be a real problem. So,
okay, thank you.
Right. Next is I'm not sure if you want to give us just kind of a summary of the fiscal year-to-date budget report for the city. Is that something that you'd like to do?
Yeah, I'll take that, Ed. So overall, we're in good shape, but given that the fiscal year ended yesterday, there's a boatload of entries that still need to be done and journal entries to true up everything. There's a lot of revenue that's still coming in. I think we give people until the first week of August to get all their invoices in to pay for fiscal 24. So it will be very dynamic from now until probably the first or second week of August. But preliminary indications are we should be in good shape. I don't think there's any individual division that's in trouble or merits any significant attention. As Mickey said, they're going to come under. The fire department's going to be under mainly because of not having a full-time staff. Although they are making improvements on that, they'll be significantly under. And finance will be okay. And community services, just thinking out loud. I was doing a review of the divisions earlier today, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be having a meeting to make sure that we are very cautious with the money. Any money that's left over at the end of the year, we generally look at what some of the departments may have wanted but weren't able to get. But now we have to be a little bit more cautious allowing that money to be carried forward. It'd be much better off at this point in time when we're having some difficult times with the budget year and the reval and everything like that. It'd be better off if we can just very cautiously put that money aside and make sure that we have it in contingency.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Troy, you have your hand up? Oh, okay. Oh, that was me with my cursor over your name. Okay, Mr. Mayor, would you like to say any other words, or is anyone else? Unless there's anything more specific to report, I assume that concludes this meeting. Is that fair?
Before I make the motion to adjourn, I'll just say that the department heads, as always, have done a really, really good job in making sure that they live within their budget, as you can see. And I give them a lot of credit for their professionalism and their frugalness, I guess. So, and I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. All in favor? All right, guys, we'll see you next month or next time if there's a meeting.
Sorry, I misspoke earlier. We will see you on August 5th, not August 7th.
Okay. All right. We'll see you all then. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.